Okay. As we move into discussing your themes from story to story, here's what I want you to consider as you look at your notes. TJ's working on the medicine bag. However, TJ tomorrow may receive an assignment for working with the monkey's paw. So he wants to make sure that he has in his notes on the monkey's paw theme, as well as notes on his group's work, the medicine bag. So how many of you are working with note buddies? Okay, then some of you are already doubling up on the notes. You can follow along and take notes on the themes for each one of the stories. Then tomorrow when you write, you can access those notes, remind yourself of the discussion that we're going to have, pretty short, and then if you want expanded questions on that, you can ask me during class tomorrow during the writing session. Let's start with the monkey's paw. The monkey's paw. You had decided fate was your thematic concept?
Yeah.
Okay. Thematic concept is fate. And what is Jacobs telling us about fate?
Fate will control the outcome.
Okay. Fate will control the outcome. Good. So what can human beings not do? There you go. All right, we need some evidence from the story. So, tell you what, this group has done its job excellently. Let's cast this question out to the entire class. How do we know that this is the theme of the monkey's paw? Give me evidence from the story that shows this message is there. And it could be you folks also. Give me evidence that this is the theme. Oh, silence. I'm looking for plot details. I'm looking for story summary that supports that this is the theme. Okay, well, the whites try to defeat fate, right?
Yeah.
Am I up here? Is this thing on? Thank you, Logan. Logan, what happens when the whites try to defeat fate? Further than it not working, when they try to control their own fate in terms of money, what happens?
Karma.
Oh, karma. It's a fate-related idea. So, the whites fail miserably when they try to control fate. When they try to control their own money, they lose a son. When they try to control life and death, they unleash a horror that they thankfully get rid of before it can enter the house. So if you were writing about this, you could talk about the attempts by a human being to control fate and the consequences of those attempts. And that tells you that Jacobs believes fate cannot be controlled. Who mentions fate in the story, by the way? Who mentions it by name? Which character? The Sergeant Major. You could even use his quotation as support if you were writing about fate in the monkey's paw. Medicine bag. The medicine bag. Thematic concepts. What you got? Identity. And what's the comment? What are we saying about it? Okay. So let's see. The identity is, I'm going to shape your words a little bit. Could it be that family is an important part of your identity? That we must accept family as an important part of our identity? Yeah? Okay. At least partly. Okay, how do we know that? What happens in the medicine bag that shows that to be true? Mason?
His grandpa comes to live with him.
Uh-huh.
And
Correct. Has to hand down the medicine bag. How does the narrator initially respond to that all that action?
He doesn't want to like wear it and stuff.
So he sort of rejects his grandfather, but then he learns what the medicine bag's all about, and then how does he feel?
He feels like he shouldn't like wear it.
So when he rejects his grandfather, how does he feel, Mason?
Oh, it feels bad.
Yeah. When he rejects his grandfather, he feels bad. When he accepts his grandfather, how does he feel?
Good.
Yeah, that's right. It's a simple story. Kid comes into contact with crazy old grandfather with a smelly medicine bag around his neck, says, no, 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 no. I want nothing to do with this. And he's upset and he's embarrassed and he feels bad about himself. He learns about the medicine bag. His grandfather explains the vision quest and the ancestors, and he accepts it, feels better about himself, and at the end of the story, he seems like more of an adult. That's how your paragraph might run. If you were explaining to me how a theme came out in a story, that's the sort of summary and discussion you would give. The foghorn. I thought the foghorn was a meditation on power and the nature and the power of nature contrasted to humanity, but this group has decided to go for loneliness because they're focusing on the loneliness of the monster. I think that's fascinating. I love that theme discussions go in different directions. Group, tell me what you're thinking about loneliness.
Loneliness creates sadness.
Okay, so creates let's intensify a little bit. Because we had guilt in Stop the Sun, right? What did we decide that Stop the Sun was saying about guilt?
Like,
Dahlia, what did you say about Stop the Sun and guilt?
it's like a strong, powerful thing.
Powerful. So, Foghorn Group, I think you've got something going on if you amplify this into a powerful sadness. What speaks to me in the foghorn of power? What makes me feel power? The monster. The monster makes me feel power. Who's feeling lonely? Correct. The monster is lonely. So could we be funny and say that this is a monstrous sadness? At least there was one chuckle at the pun. Thank you very much. It's not accidental that he would create a monster to express this loneliness. Bradbury's saying loneliness is incredibly powerful. Why was the lighthouse originally built, according to the Foghorn? Mason? For ships, that's true. But also that sound. Yeah, go ahead.
Is it for like the guy built it so like there wouldn't be something there?
Yeah, that sound kind of tells you that somebody else is there, right? And it's this powerful connection. The story is called the Foghorn. And that monster thinks that horn is a connection to another monster, basically. And then feels what he feels when he realizes it's not. My nature thing was more philosophical. Your loneliness thing is more poetic. It's a different interpretation of the story, and I like it. Raymond's Run. We've got a comment on determination. Okay. Good, or concept. And my comment, or your comment, is what? What has Raymond's Run told me about determination?
If you don't try to work for your goal, you won't achieve it.
Okay. Proof? Evidence from the story. Hey, you don't have to find page reference. Just tell me something that happens in the story that tells you this.
She was running her dad something like she runs all the time when she won the race.
She's running all the time. Does she believe in herself? Is she determined to do this? Okay, so Squeaky is determined. Who else is determined? Mason?
Isn't it, the girl?
The girl that, yeah, what was her name? Gretchen, thank you very much. Gretchen seems determined. Does Gretchen win?
No.
Let's think about that for a moment. Win the race, right? Does she win anything? Anything that she achieves?
Like running in front of like everyone kid.
No, let's think about this, Jacob. That's right. She achieves a friend at the end, doesn't she? She's rewarded for her determination. Squeaky is rewarded for her determination. And it almost seems like Raymond is rewarded for his determination. All three of these characters that are determined and hardworking and focus on a goal and want to seek it end the story well. And there's your discussion. You talk about how characters demonstrate determination and good things happen. Go back to the Lion King. Simba gets rid of responsibility. Bad things happen. Takes responsibility. Good things happen. The message is clear. Circuit. Talking about poverty. Riley and Garrett, what are we saying about poverty? Okay, do not judge those in poverty. Working hard will lead to choices. You get to choose what you want. Actually, with this group, I think I'm going to disagree. Can somebody tell me why I might disagree with that second part of the comment? Think about the story, Michaela.
Isn't it the same about judging people?
Okay, it doesn't, because nobody's judged, right? We only get the perspective from in the family. We don't get anybody else, do we? Oh, we get the teacher. Does the teacher prejudge that kid? So I don't really see anybody doing any of the prejudgment. I don't see any of the prejudice. Now, Riley, you might think when you're thinking about poverty, okay, let's not be prejudiced, but that's you and your experiences. Let's just think about the story. Why would I also not go to working hard will lead to choice?
Because they work hard at their second home, but they still have to move.
They work hard and they still have no choices. Those people work back-breaking labor and they still have no control over their lives. Okay, so we have a couple hypotheses that we threw out. Why? Because we have no evidence. What do we have? Poverty. What did we learn about poverty through the story? What's the story about? What happens in the story? Somebody tell me some of the events that happen in the story. If you're not sure about the answers here, you got to retell the story to yourself. What happens in it? They have to move. What's the consequence of them moving? What's the...
He loses he doesn't get to stay there for a long time to build friendships.
No friendships. What else does he lose?
His teacher.
Teacher. What else?
Wasn't he good learning how to play the
He was about to learn how to play the trumpet. He loses the music. His reading level is not where it should be. He's losing his education. He's losing friends. He's losing play. He's losing education. What's this kid losing? Thank you. Hit the nail on the head. Poverty destroys childhood. In our discussions about illegal immigrants, people love to write, oh, it's unfair, they're taking jobs, blah, 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 and so on and so forth. The discussion can go one way or another, but what this author is trying to tell you is you must consider that children are involved. That child never chose to be in the situation in which he finds himself. And you can imagine what life would be like if you never had solid friendships, opportunity for education, opportunity for the play of a musical instrument or a sport. It's devastating. We'll pick up the rest tomorrow before you start writing. Put them back, please.